Today we're going to be talking about Kevin Sorbo. You might remember him from such TV series as Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Andromeda. And in the last 10 years, he's been in such films and TV shows as God's Not Dead, and, well, he's still more famous than me. Anyway, Kevin Sorbo recently went on the Rick Wiles show. You guys remember Rick Wiles?
Ebola could solve America's problems.
He's the guy who said that the Ebola virus might just be God's way of getting rid of the faggots and heathens and harlots and non-believers and all that stuff. Oh yeah, so now Kevin Sorbo is sitting with Rick Wiles on his radio show, and they're talking about these fucking atheists, man. These fucking atheists. You know, they talk about God, and they rant about God, and all they do is talk and bitch and complain about God, but they claim they don't even believe in God.
Why would anybody spend so much time ranting and raving about something that they don't believe in?
I mean, I don't believe in the tooth fairy, but you don't see me out there trying to put a stop to it.
You know, I don't believe in the tooth fairy, but I don't spend all my time trying to stop people from believing in the tooth fairy.
I bet these atheists really do believe in God deep down inside. They just hate him. They just want to sin.
I know these guys must believe in something, otherwise they wouldn't get so angry about it. And they don't like the fact that there's a higher power out there that's judging how they live their lives.
You know, all this stuff that they're saying, I gotta be honest with you folks, it makes complete sense. In the alternate universe, 3,000 billion, trillion, zillion, kabillion light years in that direction. But here in this universe, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense now, does it? Because in order for this to make sense, you'd have to look at it from the context of a Christianity that is totally socially benign. Like, we're Christians, we have our beliefs, we have our moral practices that we do in private, but when it comes to interacting with the world, we adhere to secular morality. You know, so we don't try to impose our religious morals on everyone else. We don't try to impose our religion on the government of the country. And if that were the case with Christianity, that would make total sense. But that's not the case in this country. We live in a country where Christians want to put the Ten Commandments in front of the courthouse, and they want to mandate prayer in schools, and they think creationism should be taught in science class, and they think gay people don't deserve rights, and they think all of these crazy things. And they vote for these ultra-regressive candidates, and they try to impose their religious values on the entire country. And what Rick Wiles and Kevin Sorbo are basically saying is that they should have the freedom to do all that, but when an atheist stands up to them and says, hey, I don't even believe in God, so how can you try to impose this morality on me? They say that that should not be allowed. That atheist should be mocked for daring to say that. How dare you talk about a God you don't even believe in? Well, I might not believe in your God, but I believe in the negative effect of your beliefs on our society. I mean, you talk about the tooth fairy. I don't believe in the tooth fairy, but you don't see me talking about the tooth fairy all the time. Well, that's because it's only little kids who believe in the tooth fairy. It's so inconsequential. Little kid puts a tooth under his pillow, and the tooth fairy leaves $1. What's the harm in that? Sure, fine, okay. But what if the tooth fairy was a little different? What if adults believed in the tooth fairy, and they believed the tooth fairy needed tooth sacrifices? And every once in a while, you might be called upon to sacrifice one of your teeth to the tooth fairy. That was the law of the land, because that's what the tooth fairyists believe. Then do you think you might have some criticisms of the idea of the tooth fairy? It seems to me that Christians like Dick Biles and Hercules, okay, that was some kindergarten level shit. I'm above that. No, I'm not. Do you think that those assholes would even for a second tolerate a world in which they were forced to cooperate with a belief structure that was totally alien to them, that made no sense to them, that had no real bearing on their lives, do you think they would just sit idly by and be like, well, not my place to talk about that? You know, the extreme right-wing sects of Christianity might be able to garner total obedience from their followers, but I don't know why they expect total obedience from us atheists. Like, they're just going to say, stop talking about this, and we're going to be, oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. And there's a totally legitimate reason for talking about Christianity in this country. Because Christianity still holds a lot of power in this country. Christian morals still hold sway in many parts of this country. And as for this idea that atheists do believe in God deep down inside, and that's the reason we talk about him, you know, I actually mentioned this in my video yesterday. I've heard a lot of Christians come at this with the reverse angle, like, you atheists, you really do believe in God deep down inside. And I always found that funny, like, why would I believe in God deep down inside? There's no fucking evidence for God. Let me just expand on that a little bit. There's nothing about your God that is the least bit convincing. I don't know why you have this idea that we must somehow, somewhere, deep down inside, believe in your God. It's almost like you think it's impossible not to believe in my God. Even though you know that there are plenty of people across this planet who don't believe in your God. Maybe they don't believe in any God. Maybe they believe in a bunch of gods. Maybe they believe in a different God. They don't believe in your God. And you accept that, but you think that here in America, anyone who identifies as an atheist must just be a liar. And I admit that I flip this question around, and I still flip it around. I want to know, how could anyone actually believe this shit? I think that at the core of their being, Rick Wiles and Kevin Sorbo know that this is nonsense. And that's why they have to make ridiculous movies like God's Not Dead, where they portray atheists in such a false manner. They have to strawman atheists. They have to create a fake atheist who makes fake atheistic arguments because they can't counter the real ones happening in real life. And the only thing they can really do is just tell the atheist to shut up! Stop talking about our God! Come on! Leave us alone, guys! No, we're not going to leave you alone because you won't leave this society alone. If you want to make your religion a private and personal matter that you don't shove down everyone else's throat, then us atheists will shut the fuck up. Because I don't care what you believe. I don't care what my neighbor thinks. You know, if he wants to believe in Mula Mula, the tiger goddess, I don't care. Just as long as he ain't sacrificing me to the bitch. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out. If you enjoy this video, please share this video with your friends. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Like this video, comment on this video. Do all of the things that would help this video propagate throughout the internet just a little bit further than it would have without your help.
And do cocaine too.
Cocaine. Yeah.